Hello and welcome to John's Chess. Today we'll be going over the game between Magnus Carlsen and Nepo. Carlsen just won the Champions Chess Tour 2024. We will also be talking about these drones that are hovering over New Jersey, New York, Maryland, and the rest of the country. We'll look at some clips from YouTube and go over that while we're talking about this final game of the Champions Chess Tour between Carlsen and Nepo. Okay, let's look at this game first, and I'll randomly pick clips from YouTube about the drone. So welcome to this is drone chess. All right, Carlsen has white, Nepo has black. This is the final game. Carlsen plays d4, e6, e4, d5. This transposes into a French defense. Knight c3 by Carlsen. So far, everything is normal. Black could play knight f6 or bishop e7. Nepo plays knight f6, e5. This is, I believe, the advanced variation. Knight f d7. Now knight c e2, which is rather unusual. Let me go back. Let me see if I have a book here. A normal here is f4. f4 solidifying the center. But Carlsen plays knight c e2. Let's watch one of the videos about the drones that are invading the country right now. What do you think they are? Are they extraterrestrials? Are they ours, or a foreign entity from drones from our adversaries? What do you think? Let's look at a clip. Let's look at this YouTube video from Steve Bassett. Let's see what he has to say.
The United States government knew about the ET presence no later than July of 1947.
He calls them ETs.
I made the decision at that time to keep that from the American.
I think they're extraterrestrial also.
Almost exactly 5 years later to the week, there was a significant flyover Washington, D.C. The U.S. government had a problem.
The U.S. government.
Stanford made
well, the problem is they don't tell us the truth.
But not unreasonable. But also there came a response from Donald Keogh, who flat out said, these are extraterrestrials. It's not human.
So someone just came out and said they're extraterrestrial years ago.
To keep this from the American people. 10 years later, 1962, we had the Cuban Missile Crisis, where we almost had a nuclear war. Only 4 years after that, these craft started appearing over our nuclear facilities and shutting our nuclear weapons down.
That's quite amazing.
In the 60s, we don't know. Because the Air Force probably at some point was able to keep a much tighter rein on the outcome.
Because you see, the government, they won't tell you everything. In this situation, first it was radioactive material they were looking for. And then they jumped to something else. And back and forth. But none of that explained what was going on. And they are also seen throughout the country and the world.
But witnesses for a number of these shutdowns came forward. They have been trying to testify before Congress for 30 years.
30 years.
When they initially made the decision to start coming forward, led by Captain Robert Salas. The government has not allowed them to testify, and in fact, it has virtually ghosted them. Was about the only thing that it could do. All right? And so that was in the 60s. Again, the government kept this from the American people. Decades went on. And then we start to approach what I think is the end game, the end of the truth embargo. And we start moving into that 7-year period, starting in 2017. But it's not been easy. It's been slow. There's been pushback.
I think in 2017 they had a meeting about these UAPs.
Without question. However, we are also moving toward nuclear war. Just that one thing alone.
And maybe we have all of this alien activity because of the threat of nuclear war. Maybe they want to warn us, try to save us, or the activity is alarming. Um, who knows? Let's go forward here. Let's see.
And so here is my conclusion. The extraterrestrials have lost their patience. And the risk to us as a civilization has only increased. And so they've decided we're going to end this nonsense. And so they're doing incursions, using their devices, whatever they are, not just in one place, not in two places, not on one continent, multiple continents. And the U.S. government knows it. And what do you do? Here's what they do.
They lied to us.
You can't shoot them down. They know they're extraterrestrial, I can assure you. Right? Trying to shoot down extraterrestrial craft of any kind or orbs of any kind, you end up killing human beings, and it's hopeless. You don't want to send up piloted craft because they could crash. So you send up your own drones to somehow monitor them as best you can. And so what you're seeing is a mix of
That's exactly what's going on.
And non-human craft entities of whatever type they want, engaging in some, I guess, process, probably mostly surveillance by us of them, and that is all the government can do. And so what the ETs and their genius have done is put the United States government, the UK government, in an impossible position finally. In other words, we can't tell you what they really are, though we know, but we can't stop them from doing this. And they continue to do it, and they will continue to do it, and the pressure on the government, the embarrassment for the government will become excruciating. And those people within the United States government that somehow have decided...
Until the government will have to cave in and tell us exactly what is going on. Which maybe, unfortunately, we are not alone. And people are beginning to figure that out. Let's go back to the chess game. That was very interesting. So we have knight CE2, C5, attacking the center, attacking D4. White could play C3 here, which he does. C3. Knight C6, another developing move. Also putting pressure on the center. Computers wants F4, I believe. Carlsen plays A3. Let's see if we can find out where the mistake happened. A5, countering a pawn push to B4. This is my first time going over this game. So, knight F3. White could play something like knight F3, maybe knight G3 and bishop E3, protecting D4. So we have knight F3, A4, clamping down on B3, taking control of B3. H4. I would probably play maybe knight G3 or bishop G5. Bishop G5, then maybe bishop E7. Bishop takes, queen takes, and maybe we're still, oops. Bishop takes, maybe queen takes, and then knight here, knight G3 maybe, and it looks even to me. I don't have the engine going. Let's see if we can spot where Nepo went wrong in this game without the use of an engine. Knight F3, so we have A4. Carlsen plays H4 with aggressive intentions of maybe putting something on G5. Let's watch one of these videos again about these drones. Let me see. Go here. Let me go to my history. Let me go back. What do we have here?
Did you know the mysterious drones spotted over New Jersey might be tracking plasma-like entities called plasmoids? Plasmoids are
randomly picking videos
near thunderstorms or in space, and some scientists believe they could be linked to
unidentified anomalous phenomena. Yeah, plasmoids is something that's
objects pulsate, change shape,
resonating
interact with electric electromagnetic fields in ways that defy conventional physics. Some speculate plasmoids might represent a fourth domain of life, a non-carbon-based form of intelligence. Imagine drones equipped with advanced sensors, tracking these entities to gather critical data on their behavior and interactions. The possibilities stretch from breakthroughs in atmospheric science to unraveling the mysteries of UAPs and even exploring the origins of life itself. Could these connections help us bridge gaps between physics, biology, and extraterrestrial life? To learn more about this mind-bending topic, watch our full YouTube video. See you there.
Yeah, we really don't know what's going on. I mean, this drone situation is totally out of hand. Totally out of hand. Let me see. Bizarre drones seen in the sky worldwide. Not in Jersey anymore. This guy was interesting from Tech Chasm.
So this drone situation keeps
Let's listen to Tech Chasm a little bit.
Weirder by the day. It's not only confined to New Jersey anymore. In the beginning, we had like the New Jersey drones, right? That's how it all began. But now we shall see footage, which is really strange, and it's happening in the entire U.S. and even outside of the U.S. We have some fascinating footage from Brazil, which I'm going to show you later in the video. Welcome to Tech Chasm, by the way. I'm Sebastian, your host, so let's get right into the footage.
Let's get right into it.
So let's start with this video here, which was captured on the 19th of December, just 2 days ago, in Knoxville, Tennessee, over the Target store. Imagine if you want to go to buy some stuff at Target, you want to go to buy some stuff, and you look up into the sky, and there you see like a swarm of lights doing stuff in the air. Would be strange, wouldn't it?
Wow,
that's exactly what happened in this video. Let's have a look.
Yeah. I think so.
Oh.
I mean, that's undeniable.
Whoa.
They're stationary.
A lot of lights in the sky sure seems unusual. Sure seems unusual. But is it though? Is it though? That's the question now. We don't see any anomalous behavior, right? We don't see weird maneuvers. We don't see zigzag maneuvers.
We don't see much of anything.
These, let's call them objects, do anything out of the ordinary. We want to see one of Lou Elizondo's 5 observables in order to be able to say, hey, this could be something. We could be onto something more interesting here.
To verify
we want to see them do erratic maneuvers. We want to see them exhibit insane acceleration capabilities. We want to see them exhibit some structure or, physical appearance with no wings or propellers, where it's like, hey, how does this thing even fly? We want to see it display transmedium capabilities, being able to dive into water and out of the water without affecting the water itself at very high speeds. We want to see some extraordinary stuff where we think,
but they're just hanging in the sky, not doing anything.
To defy the laws of physics, and I don't see anything like this in this video. My explanation for this video, I'm sorry to disappoint you. I don't want to be the bearer of
just a constellation,
but it's probably Chinese lanterns. In this case, it's probably Chinese lanterns, and Chinese lanterns these days are actually a source of insane misidentification. Like every fourth video I see is like orange objects floating uniformly in the sky, as if.
Do we have a history of that being launched in Texas?
Orange objects moving very slowly, uniformly, as if carried by the wind, then Occam's razor tells us that they are carried by the wind, and that they are most likely Chinese lanterns. And we see more and more Chinese lantern stuff happening. I don't know where all these Chinese lanterns are suddenly coming from. Like, who has started?
No, I don't think they are Chinese lanterns.
It used to be a thing 20 years ago, right? Like, what's
do they go up and then become stationary?
Now, this is interesting here. This is a soldier. Okay, this is a soldier.
Now, this video is very interesting. This soldier, just listen to this soldier. He says that some of the drones are friendly. The drones that they're sending up are friendly. They're from us, basically, and they are observing the orbs.
We don't know anything about this. I don't know the background information, but
this is
really
interesting.
Okay, an army whistleblower telling us what's
going on.
The
guy's just speaking truth.
Listen to what he's saying, and then we can assess if such a thing would even be possible. Would such a thing even be possible?
We are launching the drones up in the sky as of right now in New Jersey and stuff, in Texas, everywhere. Like, y'all don't gotta be afraid. There are man-made drones, and we're doing the launching or whatever. Now, what you do have to be concerned of, my bad, my eye, but is the orbs that's inside the sky that y'all see that's glowing.
This guy looks a bit tired from probably staying up all night launching all the drones. Am I right? Am I right? Man, you need to get some sleep. You launched too many drones, staying up until 5 in the morning to launch all the drones. It's not good for you, my friend.
He's been very busy.
That's shooting down drones and all that. That's not a part of us. Them are actually real life aliens. Like, aliens do exist. They're above.
Here we go. This is what he said.
Yes, they do exist.
Said they do exist.
In 2025, there will be a lot more of exposing the truth. I can't say the reason why, but because it's already out.
Well, you have to believe this guy.
Aliens are real, and
you really have to believe this guy.
To evacuate sooner than later, but just be careful. Keep looking up in the sky.
Yeah, now he says we'll have to evacuate sooner rather than later. They know something we don't know, but it's all up to debate whether this guy's telling the truth. I don't see a reason for him to lie. Let's go back to the chess game, and let's see what's going on here. Okay, h4. All right. Queen a5. Again, this is the final game of the chess masters. So, Queen a5. So far, I don't see any big problems for black. Black is more active on the queen side, whereas white, the king side actually. Carlsen could play a future rook h3, g3 maybe. I don't know if he does that. I haven't gone over this game at all. So Carlsen plays bishop d2, threatening some discoveries against the queen, threatening maybe c4, and then taking on d5, and he'll have to take back, weakening e6. So the queen moves out of the line of fire, attacking b2. Carlsen plays rook b1, bishop e7. So far, I don't see any. I don't see anything spectacular. It looks as though I don't have an engine running. It looks as though the position is basically even right now. Bishop e3, putting pressure on c5. This is a French. It's actually a classical system of the French. Castles. White has a problem here with the bishop, in which he does solve that problem. He plays knight f4 instead of knight g3. Because we have to get that bishop developed. Knight f4. There's some potential of an attack on the king side from white after he develops this bishop. So the question is, after he develops the bishop, does he want to not castle and maybe play g4, g5, leave the king in the center? We'll find out. Let's watch another clip about these orbs. So, let's see. We just saw this video, which is very interesting. Let me go back to history. Let's see.
Has been flying over the area this morning. He claims that he knows where they're coming from.
This is Jasko.
You get the idea, right? It's really freaky, and I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys.
Let's see what he has to say.
It freaks me out myself, and obviously I'm out here in New Jersey right now. I'm here with my friends, and we're more so kind of just trying to dig deeper into this.
Everybody's trying to find out what is going on.
You do have to wonder about worst case scenario, and that is worst case scenario by far. And with that being said, apparently no one knows where these drones are coming from. No one knows who's behind them. Not our military, not our government, not even our president. But a U.S. Army soldier came forward and he...
Oh, believe me, they do know. Some of them, they do know, especially the president and those in the White House. They do know. They just don't want to tell us, fearing panic. But sometimes it's better to warn the public, to warn the people, to tell the people about the threat. We're big boys and girls. We can handle it. We can take whatever's coming. We can accept it and then prepare for it. That's what they should do.
Made this statement regarding the drones, and he claims that he knows where they're coming from. As a matter of fact, he goes very in detail about it. So I'm going to let this footage play. Take a look at this.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, well, my goodness, he's playing the same video that we just watched.
With critical infrastructure.
So let's go to another part of the
And you
video.
see some things in the sky, and it's not on apps and websites like Flight Radar, Flight Tracker. We want to see what the hell it is.
Flight Tracker's
because
pretty
now, full-on red flags, right? But I will show you exactly what happened when we went to one of the drone crash sites, the one that was near the Lowe's. But before I do show you that, I've been asking you guys for your thoughts, theories, and also to send me some clips in that.
And then let's see what he said.
That's
when
my
it was by Lowe's.
Let me
But this is a
down.
down drone.
Claim that it crashed in the field back there, which is really strange, by the way, because there's a gate that's just wide open over there. Now, as you can see, conditions aren't optimal at the moment. You can't really see too much in the sky, so if we do see anything tonight, red flags, for sure. The first thing I want to show you is the original footage that was recorded surrounding the crash site here, the news coverage and everything, so take a look at that first.
A major response from authorities that could be related to an incident involving a drone. It is happening in Hillsborough, New Jersey. Fox 9's Stephanie Bertini is live from that scene. Stephanie, obviously so much frustration about what is even happening in the skies above us, so this might be a big answer.
Yeah, Bianca, I talked to several people who tell us they heard a drone crash somewhere behind where I'm standing. We're working to get that information confirmed with officials. Our chopper has been flying over the area this morning. Here's some video. We're showing you that view from above. We're in a shopping plaza in Hillsborough, just off Route 206. First responders have been here all morning, including Hillsborough police. A lot of onlookers. I talked to one woman who said
mysterious drone sightings. Just like a drone crash.
She says she heard the drone crash happened overnight here.
Title it a drone crash.
She's seen several, what she believes are drones anyway.
Good grief, is that residual?
She says she lives not too far from where we're live
right spray it down?
Now, we've reported on these drone concerns in New Jersey. Some experts have said the sightings could very well be lawfully manned aircrafts today. We're hearing from officials on Staten Island about the same topic. Take a listen.
It was a saying that we had after 9/11. If you see something, say something. I think that's become, if you see something, don't worry about it, because we saw it too.
This clip is some days old.
Staten Island deserve answers. The people of this city and state and region deserve answers of what the heck is going on.
So we've heard from the FBI, and the FBI says there's no reason to believe that these recent possible drone sightings pose a national security threat. Now, in terms of what we're getting from local officials, we're being told we're going to get an update this afternoon at some point, Bianca, in terms of what they've been looking at here. Back to you inside.
Yeah, it's so interesting because...
Wow. Very interesting. There's a lot going on. And there are even more sightings now. They're ongoing. So let's get back to the game. Knight f4. Knight f4, queen to b3. I'm not sure about that move. Certainly, well, if queen takes, let's see what we have. Queen takes, pawn takes. He has a strong pawn here on b3. Wants to play c4. And, well, white can't really take because you have a weak e5. Black could take here on e5. Knight takes, knight takes. And this pawn here on b3. So that's like a thorn in white's side here. Looks like black would be better in this situation. And he hasn't castled. White has not castled in this position, and the bishop is still not developed. So exchanging is not advantageous for white, I believe. Again, I don't have an engine running. I'm not sure. I'm just trying to analyze this. So Carlsen steps out of the way. Queen c1. He still has to develop this bishop and decide. White, it seems to me, has to develop and decide whether to attack on the king side or push these pawns. But the king would be vulnerable, not castled. So c takes, c takes. Okay. So that looks good. So knight a5 with the intent of bringing the knight to c4. If black could get a rook on c8, that would be advantageous. That would be really great for black if you can get a rook to c8. So if c takes, knight to a5. But right now, if the knight comes to c4, the bishop can take. Pawn takes back. I wouldn't want to play knight c4 unless I had some more pieces to back it up. Potentially even b5. But Carlsen plays bishop to d3, which now if b5, maybe bishop to c2. And then place a knight on, if here, with the intent placing a knight here, then maybe bishop c2. And the queen would be uncomfortable there. See. Well, if bishop to c2, can't check along this diagonal. Well, this is the only move. Well, white does not have this discovery bishop takes because the queen is defended. If we go here, the queen just moves out the way. Well, note if the queen goes here, then we have bishop takes h7. The queen has to go something like here. The queen goes there. Then Carlsen could castle and move the queen out the way and take over the c file with the rook. Place the rook on c1. Let's cancel that. So Carlsen plays bishop d3. And correct with the threat. Also knight to d2, kicking the queen away. I would say here now in this position, white is better. Because white can also play knight g5. So actually knight g5 is a pretty good move here, attacking h7. And if something like knight g5, g6, then Carlsen has h5. So white is better here. All of his pieces are aiming at the king side, actually. So it looks like white is brewing up an attack here on the king side. So Nepo lashes out with h6, and here's my rook h3. Carlsen did play rook h3 eventually, planning to go to g3, attacking along to the g file, along the g file with all kind of threats, discoveries with knight moves, and bishop takes h6. So knight. So we have bishop d3, h6. I think h6 is kind of weakening, but again, h6 stops knight g5. So Carlsen's position looks really good here. It looks almost forced winning. Almost. Rook there, and now we have knight c4. There goes the knight c4 out of desperation. He should have maybe black should have followed up with something before that move. The queen is uncomfortable here, so b5 B5 wouldn't work. The queen is uncomfortable. It doesn't have many squares. Yeah. White can attack. White's preparing to attack at will here. Starting with rook g3. That looks really good. That looks really good. Black suffers from a lack of development totally, while Carlsen meticulously just placed his pieces on correct squares, preparing for this attack. That looks very good. That's very good. So Black does get in this knight c4. So what do you think about what's going on with these drones? Are they alien? 100% some of them are ours. And I'm with the theory now, after weeks of development, that we have our drones deployed to monitor the orbs. And the orbs are a certain type of life form. That's what I believe now, after everything. You know, we'll see, and the government will be forced to come clean and say, look, we are not alone. But why don't they want to tell us that now? I don't understand. But that's just my opinion. We'll see. Knight c4, then bishop c2 attacking the queen. The queen has to move. And Carlsen, there's all type of pressure on the king side. He could play. So hold on, knight c4 after bishop here, because the knight could take the bishop on e3 too. But here Carlsen plays. Oh, he did take it. See, I have not gone over this game. Knight h5. So knight h5, he's actually threatening bishop takes h6. Oh yeah, he is. Of course he is. Bishop takes h6. Yeah, because the queen is on the same. Bishop takes. So knight h5. Let's say he does something like this, an arbitrary move. Then yeah, bishop takes definitely. If pawn takes, queen takes, it's over. There's always threatening mate here. Pawn here. Queen. Well, the pawn can't. This pawn can't move because the mate. Well, mate here. Queen to g7 mate. He's threatening mate. Two ways to checkmate here. If he plays something arbitrarily. But that's why Nepo takes the knight, takes the bishop. Knight takes, queen takes. So what it is, Black has already lost. He has a show of force. Carlsen has just really built up an attack on the king side. I mean, rook g3 is devastating. All he has to do is get in rook g3 and it's over. Because he's attacking down the file, down the g file, hitting g7. There's no defense. Even threatening knight f6. And then, you know, if he could get his queen on the diagonal, but it's over after that. So queen e3, knight e3, queen takes e3, then f5. He could take, let me see, if pawn takes, almost on knight takes, that would give him a little bit of breathing space. If pawn takes, almost knight takes, he may survive. Black, yeah, because knight takes, bishop takes, or knight takes, rook takes. The threats are almost neutralized. Knight takes, let's say bishop takes, and then he could still play rook g3, but the threats are almost neutralized. The problem is also if White could just get his queen on this diagonal with the bishop here. If White could create a battery along this diagonal, that would be great. But he can't at the moment. The queen covers d3, and it would take some. It would take some doing here. It would take more moves than is needed. It would take planning, and this looks almost even, I'd say. And because White's king is stuck in the center in this position, so that's why Carlsen denied. He did not take en passant. So queen takes e3, f5. And then we get rook g3 finally with all types of threats. Rook f7 looks like the only way to defend. Also, the game is over. I just missed that. Because he's also threatening queen takes h6. So the game is effectively over. Rook f7 and then comes the lightning bolt. Queen takes, and the game is over. I mean, there's too much pressure along the G file. It was very meticulous. Bishop F8 defending G7, and then Queen to G6. Yeah, with the knight, the next move would be Knight G5, and there's nothing that Black can do. That's correct. Let's say he makes a move. Knight G5 is the threat here, threatening mate here, and no, that can't be stopped. The rook, if he moves the rook out of the way, he still gets checkmated. Queen H7 is still mate. So that's a fantastic game from Carlsen. So what do you think about what's going on in the world with these drones? And are we being attacked? Is it just, are they looking for radiation, as they said last week or 2 weeks ago? Something's about to happen, and we're in a dreadful situation, I believe. Just pray about it. And yeah. All right, until our next game.